Okay, so our article begins explaining about this story. It says, in Iraq, 19-year-old US Army Private Billy Lin and his fellow members of Bravo Squad were part of a fierce battle. Now here we give him the title private, okay? A private is just a soldier of the lowest rank, basically an ordinary soldier, not an officer, he's not in charge of anything, just a regular soldier. For example, the film Saving Private Ryan is a war film about American soldiers in World War II, and Private Ryan is the soldier.
That's right. If you join the Army, the first position you'll have, if you're not an officer, is a private.
Yep.
And basically you have to do what anyone else tells you to do. We also saw the adjective there, fellow, his fellow soldiers. Fellow is spelled F-E-L-L-O-W. Now when we use this word as an adjective, fellow basically means someone who shares a job, a role, a position, something similar to you. So for example, you could talk about your classmates as fellow students. You could talk about people in your company as fellow workers or co-workers. All right, so that means they're kind of on an equal level with you, or at least they share something that you share, the workspace or the school or something like that. For example, Gary gets on well with all his fellow students.
Okay, and these fellow soldiers were part of a squad. A squad is a group of soldiers who always work closely together and have the same officer. Now, I looked this up, and a squad is usually 8 to 12 men, and they're led by an officer called a sergeant. Okay, so that's your squad. For example, the sergeant told his squad to occupy the building and make sure it was safe. Now, his squad, they were in a fierce battle.
That's right, fierce. This adjective is spelled F-I-E-R-C-E. Fierce means something that is very violent. It usually involves a lot of people attacking or trying to hurt other ones. You could see a fierce lion maybe chasing after an animal in Africa, or you can see two people on TV have a fierce boxing match. They're both trying really hard to beat the other guy up to win the fight, but they're not like, ow, that hurts. No, they're really going for it, using all their physical power and maybe looking angry at the same time. Fierce involves power, aggression, and the ability to hurt or damage people or things. For example, the ship was stuck in a fierce storm. Now, the storm isn't angry, but it's very powerful and it can damage things very easily.
Okay, so the article says now, back on home soil, so back home, this Billy Lin and his friends, his soldiers, they're trying to get back to normal.
Wow.
Now, back to normal is usually got the verb get or be in front of it. Everything is back to normal, or we need to get back to normal. And it means to return things to the way they were before they were changed, or go back to how things usually are. And it's often implied to mean get back to when things were good or better than they are now.
Right.
For example, after a really busy week at work, things are finally back to normal.
Interesting. Now the article continues and says their struggle, the struggle of the soldiers to get back home and get back to normal. This is the focus of the new movie, Billy Lynn's Long Halftime Walk. It's a long title for a movie, but there you go. Halftime. Now this term halftime is used in the title as an adjective, a halftime walk. We can also use it as a noun. It's halftime. It's basically the middle of a game. When the players take a break after 2 periods of basketball or the first half of a soccer game or something like that, there'll be halftime. Often the break is a little bit longer than any other breaks that they will take. The players might change sides on the field.
They'll need to restart with another kickoff or a throw-up or something.
And if you have a really big game like the Super Bowl, they'll even have a little concert and some entertainment during halftime. But basically, it's the middle of some kind of sports event or game.
Okay, now the article continues and says, for the time being, Billy and the other soldiers are attempting to adjust to being back home in the US.
Okay.
So for the time being is a phrase that means for now, for the moment, or until things change. Okay. For example, the students are studying Japanese history for the time being. So in history class, they're reading about Japanese history for now. It may change later.
It's a temporary situation. And the soldiers we're talking about, well, Billy Lynn and his squad mates, his fellow squad members, are soldiers. It's a noun. S-O-L-D-I-E-R is how we spell soldier. Soldier is basically someone who is in the army. If you walk around wearing green clothes, carrying a rifle, driving a tank, or digging holes in the ground to fight other soldiers, you're in the army, you're a soldier. For example, the soldiers knew they would have to fight a battle the following morning. Ooh.
Yeah, and now these soldiers are attempting to adjust to life back in the US. If you attempt something, I'll spell this verb, A-T-T-E-M-P-T, attempt, you are trying something. It basically means the same as try. For example, Matt attempted to finish all of his homework before 7 p.m. so he could watch a basketball game on TV. It's what he was trying to do. And these soldiers, they're trying to adjust to their life.
Yeah, to adjust to something, this phrasal verb basically means to make some changes. That's the adjust. In order to fit a certain type of new situation. It could be a new place, it could be a new job, it could be a new school. Whenever you go to a new school or a new job, at first you feel a little uncomfortable. You don't know everyone, everything's kind of new, you have to find your way around. That whole process is seeing you adjust to the new school, the new class, the new job. You're making little changes so that you feel comfortable, so that you fit in eventually. For example, it took the new students a few weeks to adjust to their new school.
Yeah, now this isn't easy for Billy Lynn and his friends. The article says it's hard to do, meaning adjusting to life is hard to do when everything around them seems anything but ordinary. Now, we use this phrase anything but to mean not at all, okay? So the service in the restaurant was anything but efficient, means it wasn't at all efficient. Now, their situation, they think, these soldiers, they're in the US, but life is anything but ordinary, meaning it's not at all ordinary.
That's right. Ordinary is an adjective. It's spelled O-R-D-I-N-A-R-Y. It's very similar to words like normal, usual,
Typical,
regular,
common,
typical, things like that. So an ordinary day would see you getting up at the same time, going to school, talking to your friends, coming home, watching some TV, going to bed. That day when you got to go downtown and hang out with Beyonce for 3 hours, that was anything but ordinary. That was very strange. For example, Peter Parker was just an ordinary teenager before he became Spider-Man.
There we go.
And he wasn't ordinary.
Okay, now there's talk of a movie deal about the battle they've just been through. So studios are saying, hey, we want to make a movie about what you went through, which I'm not sure if they'll like.
That's true, and here's something else that's not ordinary. They'll even be on the field during the halftime show of a big Thanksgiving Day football game.
Oh, there's always big football games on Thanksgiving, right?
Yep, there's tons of them.
Okay, now with the media constantly following them during their victory tour, so they're going around, they're seeing people are seeing them, that's their tour of victory.
Newspapers and TV stations are doing stories about them.
Yeah, and the men struggle to deal with all this attention, all the cameras, all the news reports, and so they've got some problems with the media. Okay, media is spelled M-E-D-I-A, media, and we're using it to mean television, radio, newspapers, the internet, and all these types of things that report news. It's like a noun that describes this whole industry, basically, the media business. For example, the singer gave an interview with the media but refused to talk about her marriage. She said, okay, no questions. You guys in the media, you asked me about that and I'm gone.
Yeah, famous people have to deal with the media all the time.
And it's not always easy.
No, it's not always fun. And here's something else that's adding pressure to these soldiers. It says, what's more, or in addition, when the tour is over, they'll ship straight back to the war.
Oh my goodness.
So they're not getting out of the army.
How horrible is that?
This is like a short holiday. They go to America, everything's really strange, and then they have to go back to the desert to fight.
Surely they can go, you've done enough. No?
They need soldiers.
Oh dear, those poor fellows. So these are all the kind of pressures that these guys are under, okay? And this is an actual movie.
Yes.
And you said it was a book as
Yeah,
well.
I just finished the book actually recently. Great book, so I'm looking forward to the movie.
Okay, now we're going to talk a bit about the film here. It says the film comes packed with star power. Okay, starring Vin Diesel, Chris Tucker, Kristen Stewart, and more. Okay, meaning more actors, more famous people.
Cool.
This surefire blockbuster is directed by the famous Ang Lee.
Wow,
there we
Ang
go.
Lee from here in Taiwan. That sounds great.
No wonder we say it's packed with stars. Now, if something is packed with something else, it's full of something else. For example, the bus was packed with people, so I got a taxi instead. There was no room for me on there, but I was in a hurry. The bus was packed with people. I got a taxi.
Must have been rush hour.
Now we think this is going to be a surefire hit.
That's what it said. Surefire is a great adjective, and it's also a great shortcut for you for today. So let's find out more about it.
Yeah, it'll be a surefire way to learn about this English phrase.
Oh, you.